All right.
No, okay, who does around here?
We're all set, Craig?
Is he still
All right.
around?
I'd like to call the meeting of the Merrillville Redevelopment Commission to order for Tuesday, August 10th at 6 o'clock p.m. Mr. Secretary, roll call.
Mr. White.
Here.
Mr. Hardaway.
Yep.
Ms. Uselak.
Here,
I am here, Mr. Pettit.
Here, 5 members, we have a quorum. Next item on the agenda is accounts payable register voucher approval for August 10th, 2021, and approval of the meeting minutes from July 27th, 2021.
so moved.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Uselak, seconded by Mr. Hardaway to approve the consent agenda as presented. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Is there any old business, Mr. Reardon?
No, sir, there is not.
All right, under new business, we have a letter from Town Engineering Administrator endorsing Core Construction's recommendation to approve payment for the application number 22 to various vendors for work completed in the Merrillville Community Center. Building Corporation Redevelopment Commission, MCC requisition number 39, review and approval for payment. And Redevelopment Authority, Redevelopment Commission, MCC requisition number 40, review and approval for payment. Mr. King.
Oh, that was a lot.
It was.
Holy cow. Mr. President Pettit, the town's professional staff and myself, we've reviewed the July 2021 billing for work completed at the new Dean and Barbara White Community Center. We do concur with Core Construction's recommendation and approving payment. This is application number 20. The vendors listed below in the total amount of $158,618.91.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Hardaway, seconded by Mr. Minchuk to approve the recommendation from the Town Engineering Administrator for payment to Core Construction. Is there any questions, further discussion? Seeing none, roll call, Mr. Svetnoff, or voice?
Roll call.
Roll call, Mr. Secretary.
Mr. White.
Yes.
Mr. Hardaway.
Yeah.
Ms. Uselak.
Yes,
I'm a yes, Mr. Pettit.
Yes.
5 yeses.
Motion carries 5-0. Under general orders, we have 3 resolutions. The first one is Resolution 21-49, is a resolution of the Merrillville Redevelopment Commission approving a form of economic development agreement and related matters thereto. Let me get to that. Is this for Liberty Estates, Pat?
Yes, it is.
All right, and you had indicated that they had requested to be deferred again?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Chair will entertain a motion to table Resolution 21-49.
Motion to table.
second,
Motion by Mr. White, seconded by Mrs. Uselak to table Resolution 21-49. Mr. White, is your table to the next meeting, or Pat, do we need to put a time frame on this?
I would just say, just indefinite.
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 That's my motion.
Is that part of your motion, Mr. White? Mr. Uselak, Mrs. Uselak, does your stand?
yes,
All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Resolution 21-56 is a resolution of the Town of Merrillville Redevelopment Commission confirming the establishment of the Twin Acres Economic Development Area and related allocation area in the Town of Merrillville and approving an economic development plan for said area. Mr. Reardon, I see Mr. Anderson is in the audience as well.
I will defer to Esquire Anderson.
Good evening, Richard Anderson, 9211 Broadway. This is we had a public hearing on this last meeting on the public hearing was not held on the
It's going to be tonight, Richard, after your,
Yeah.
I'll
So
open it up
basically,
after your presentation.
This is just designating the area, the drawing I showed you last time, which is only the Weiss area. That's what this is, a designation of the allocation area.
Okay. At this time, I will open up the public hearing for public comment. Is there anyone here to speak in favor or against Resolution 21-56? Is there anyone here to speak in favor or against Resolution 21-56? there anyone here to speak in favor or against Resolution 21-56? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Back to the commission. Ladies and gentlemen, what's your preference? Do you have any questions for Mr. Anderson?
Motion to approve 2156.
Motion by Mr. Minchuk, seconded by Mr. Hardaway. Mr. Svetnov, everything is okay?
Everything appears to be in order, yes.
All right.
Question for Mr. Anderson. Mr. President?
Yes.
Yes. What amount are we looking at here? I think I did see something earlier about.
It's $10 million. That's the next resolution, actually. This one is just allocating the area.
This is the last step in creating the TIF district. It always comes back to the RDC as the last step.
Okay, no additional questions.
All right. Any other questions? Seeing none, Ms. Secretary, roll call, please.
Mr. White,
Yes?
Mr. Hardaway,
Yes.
Ms. Uselak,
Yes.
I am a yes, Mr. Pettit.
Yes.
Five
Motion
yes.
carries 5-0. Next item is Resolution 21-57, which is a resolution of the Town of Merrillville Redevelopment Commission pledging certain tax increment revenues to the payment of economic development revenue bonds of the Town of Merrillville and approving matters related thereto. Mr. Anderson.
Basically, what this says is that the tax monies that come off of this particular area go back to pay the bonds, the $10 million in bonds, which is for the public improvements that are listed in the economic development plan that's already been approved. There's $100,000, or if lesser, the first 15% that comes back to the town off of that. And the town, by pledging the tax revenues, is not pledging its credit other than that. It's just saying that it agrees that it will take those funds, take out the money that it's due, and then the rest goes back to pay the owner of the bonds, which basically is going to be the developer. He's going to buy his own bonds because there aren't too many people who are going to buy them.
One question to Mr. Svetnov or Mr. Anderson or Pat. The $100,000, is that, what fund will that be deposited in then?
We'll need to establish a fund. It could be the same fund that the future tax abatement fees are deposited into for marketing economic development purposes.
So we'll have to, RDC will discuss that at a later date.
They coordinate with the financial consultants.
All right, we'll have to talk with Pittman and Swentz.
Yes, Mr. President, this question is for Mr. Anderson. So I just want to make clear the understanding is that when this goes through, is that, how does that impact the tax? Because I think I've seen it, assessed value goes up actually, and then you,
Well, the assessed value goes up because the buildings, as they're built, are assessed.
Assessed.
So, and then the tax bills come out on those buildings, and then basically the owner of the apartments, which is the developer, pays the tax. Tax goes to the county. It comes back from the county to you and because of the way this is set up, instead of being divided up, it all comes back. And then you take, the clerk treasurer takes the first 100,000, or if lesser, the first 15,000, 15% of the annual tax increment. And then the rest of it is paid back to the bondholder, which, as I told you, is again the developer to pay off the $10 million in bonds.
But Richard, that, when Weiss goes to demolish these, the grocery store,
Right.
that's going to set the baseline at 0 come January 1st, right?
It's going to,
And
except
so
for
any
land.
any new buildings that take place are going to be the increment that we're going to all capture.
Right, because
Right.
the land is,
The land has, right.
the land is the land, and it's always the land. It's same thing in, when you have tax abatement, the land doesn't get impacted by
Right.
tax abatement.
okay, thank you.
All right.
No more questions.
Okay.
Motion to approve 2157.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Minchuk, seconded by Mrs. Uzelak to approve Resolution 21-57. Any further questions? Seeing none, Mr. Secretary, roll call.
Mr. White,
Yes?
Mr. Hardaway,
Yeah.
Ms. Uselak,
Yes.
myself is a yes, Mr. Pettit.
Yes.
5 yeses.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Any other business, Mr. Reardon?
Yes, there is, Mr. President. I understand it's unorthodox, but I would like the commission/council to agree to allow Mrs. Jelenic to approach the podium and speak. She didn't realize that the council meeting began at 6:30, and she has some thoughts she wants to share with us. So, is that okay?
I don't have a problem with it.
I have no problem.
Thank you.
So would this be for the RDC, actually?
It's relevant to the RDC, it's relevant to the town council.
Okay.
Thank you. Why don't you, to the podium? Sure.
Hey, Pat, why don't you let her have a seat and we'll use one of these mics here? Yeah.
Yeah, turn that mic around or
Yeah,
in the
give her-
padded chair and.
Yeah, you can make yourself comfortable.
Make-
That's okay.
That's okay.
More relaxed here.
We're very accommodating. Here's a mic, there you go.
Can you hear me?
I
Yeah.
can hear you now.
Okay, first of all, I want to publicly and personally thank my councilman, Mr. White and Mr. Reardon, for their help. For over 2 years, I've been arguing with the street department. The curb on my street, 61st Place, separated, the curb's up here, the street's down here. And it was dangerous, and I couldn't get any help. And 60 years I've been in my home, probably longer than you people are old. But anyway, I was stressed out. I called the street department, and she argued with me that our street was going to be repaved, which it wasn't. She said it was going to be repaved 61st Place to Taft. Anyone familiar with that, 61st Place only goes to Cleveland, not Taft. But anyway, I was stressed out. I called Mr. White early in the morning, and he listened to me, and he said he'd be at the town hall this afternoon and talk to Mr. Reardon. Well, guess what? I got a call from Mr. Reardon. I couldn't believe it. After 2 years, I got a call from Mr. Reardon, and he listened to me and said he'd send someone out to look at it. The next day, someone came out and marked off where they was going to repair it, and that was a Thursday. Friday, they came out with the machine to start moving the pavement. Monday was a holiday. Tuesday, Wednesday, it was done. It was done for one reason. These two gentlemen listened to me. Never once did they interrupt me. Never once did they try to inject their thought. They listened to me, and I appreciate it. And I just want to publicly thank them. And I'm very happy. Thank you again.
Thank you, Ms. Johnny, for the kind words you had. I also would like to talk to Mr. Steve King here because he definitely jumped on it right away. And that's what and I'm glad to hear that. So people do understand that we do respond. And I'll say again, if you have any problems, always feel free to call me even at 5 o'clock in the morning again.
It was perfect. I'm sorry.
Thank you. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
Okay.
And they did a nice job.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay.
That-
Steve, did you have anything you wanted to add to that?
Just, after I got the call from Pat, went out and took a look at it, it was a relatively simple fix. We were able to jump on it right away and take care of it right away. And Pat and I stood in this nice young lady's driveway and had a great conversation. And I saw the tears in her eyes from what we had done, and it made me feel proud to be a part of that. And our guys stepped up to the plate and did a fantastic job. And all's well that ends well. Oh, anytime. I mean, we're here for the residents, anytime.
Thank you,
Hey,
Mr.
you're welcome.
Chairman.
Thank you.
You're welcome. No, you're fine.
Nice day.
All right, is there any other comment for the RDC?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, Craig, we're done.
Thank you.